Hi guys! Okay, so today you are doing your third lesson of World War I. And to review really quickly, the first lesson you learned about the causes of World War I. Overall, in Europe, you learned an acronym, MANIA. M is militarism, A is alliances, N is nationalism, I is imperialism, and A is assassination. And then, yesterday, you learned about trench warfare, which is a horrible time and a horrible way to fight. It's where they dug trenches on both sides of the battle lines. The soldiers from all the countries lived in these trenches, fought from these trenches, slept in these trenches. They had to deal with things like trench rat, trench foot, diseases, things like that. It's a horrible way to live during the war. But all of that was going on before America actually went into the war. So, today we're going to talk about why the U.S. went into war. We didn't actually join the war until 1917, which is 3 years after the war itself started. So, before we start, you should have your notes page. On it, it says assignment number 8A. At the top, and then it says causes of America's involvement in World War I. And your directions are just that you're going to follow along with the lecture and fill in the details column in those notes. Your activity at the end, if you flip your page over, you have 3 boxes. You have U-boats on the top, Lusitania in the middle, Zimmerman telegram on the bottom. Those are the 3 main causes of America's entrance into the war. And for your assignment, you're going to have to illustrate those causes, but we'll learn more about them in this part. Okay, let's move on. So this is going to be where you're going to write about American neutrality. So look at your first box on your notes and write this here. So officially, the U.S., we're a neutral country. This is before 1917. Neutral means that we weren't on any side of the war. We didn't support either side. Officially. That's the key word here. And I say officially because if you look at this map, or it's not a map, it is a chart. So if you look at this chart, this line right here, well, this represents the United States imports and exports from 1914 to 1919. So this is during the war. Look how our exports rise. They take a big jump around 1915, huge jump, and they continue to rise. So exports are where you ship products that you make in your country out to other countries, and they buy it from us. So and imports is where we get money or get products from other places. So this right here, you need to write this as well, or paraphrase it. We traded food, weapons, oil, steel, and other goods far more with the Allied powers than with the Central powers. So while the Allied powers and the Central powers were across the Atlantic Ocean fighting, we were actually trading, giving more products to the Allied powers, which consisted of France and Britain and Russia, than we were to the Central powers. And the Central powers saw that. They knew that. So officially, we're a neutral country, but we were actually kind of helping the Allied powers before we even joined the war effort. Make sure you have this written down. Okay, another thing this is the next box down, propaganda. So both the Allied powers and Central powers used propaganda in order to support their cause by making their enemies seem savage. Propaganda is an advertisement type of thing, which is supposed to make you think or feel a certain way about something. Maybe it's not what you initially thought. It's supposed to change your mind. It's supposed to manipulate your thoughts. It's supposed to give you a bias. So both sides of the war, the Allied powers and the Central powers, used this. If you look over here, the Hun. This is a poster that you might have seen during World War I. The Hun was a derogatory word for Germans, just as cracker is a derogatory word for whites, chinks for for Asians, wetbacks for Mexicans, the N-word I can't say for blacks. All those derogatory words that are meant to cause harm to someone, the German word for it was Hun. That's what you would call a German if you hated them. So this is a propaganda poster that is supposed to get you to see the Hun, the German, as an evil looking man. It's supposed to get you to think against Germany. Moving on. These are some more examples of propaganda. This right here says, "Daddy, what did you do in the Great War?" This is a poster made for an audience, a specific audience of fathers. So maybe if they were trying to get people to go to war or to get spirit alive for the war, this poster, they might see it, a father might see it in the street and say, "Oh, you're right, my children might one day ask if I join the Great War, and what will I tell them?" And then the kid down here is playing with toys, soldiers and a cannon, and then this little girl's looking at a map, and they want to know where their father was involved. So this might get more fathers to go to the war front. This one right here says, "Enlist today. The Germans have broken their pledged word and devastated Belgium. Help to keep your country's honor bright by restoring Belgium to her liberty." So here, who is it? Well, this is blaming the Germans. This is propaganda against the Germans, and it's using fancy words like devastated and bright, honor bright, and liberty to try to appeal to your emotions. So that's what propaganda does. It manipulates you with words and pictures. This is some more propaganda. So here you have men going off to war. Look like they're traveling to a battle or something. And this is actually German. This language right here is German. But if you can see, it has Jesus Christ here. And he's kind of blessing them. So as a German, you might see this and say, "Oh, okay, Jesus wants me to go to war. It would be good for him, so I should go." And then this one, look, I think this is La Letrava. I think that's Italian. I could be wrong. But here they try to appeal to your emotions, and they try to make war look nice. You know, you have your big machine gun among all these beautiful flower trees. And the war wasn't really like that, but they portrayed it like this in order to get people to go and fight. Okay, this is the next box on your page, freedom of the seas. So there's a couple things you need to write. Here. The U.S. as a neutral nation claimed the right to trade with either side of the war. Okay, so on a couple slides ago, we said that America was officially neutral, and so they could trade with either side. However, we also learned that they traded more with Britain and the Allied powers than with Germany and the Central powers. So, Britain and Germany are going to set up blockades around the British and German coast. This would be like if you say you have an island, and that island is Britain. Britain needs goods. They need weapons. They need food. So they're getting it from America. America is shipping them weapons and food. But then Germany goes and surrounds Britain with boats and ships. They go and surround them. And then the American ships can't get through to supply Britain with what they need. So that is a blockade, where you set up something to block trade with another country. And that's going to be an issue. Okay, the next box is about U-boats. So you need to write just this top sentence here. You don't have to write the bottom part. So German submarines are called U-boats. They torpedoed enemy ships and neutral ships trading with the enemy. So one way you can remember what a U-boat is is U, underwater boat, so a submarine underwater boat. Germans are the only one that have these things called U-boats, and they use them to torpedo enemy ships and neutral ships. We just read that. U-boats is going to be one of the big reasons that we do end up going to war, and we'll see why in a few minutes. Moving on. This is an example of, you don't have to write anything on this. This is an example of the damage a U-boat could do on a ship. So this ship right here, see how it has been just wrecked on the side here from a torpedo? This ship over here had to pull up alongside it and get survivors off of the ship. So this is what was happening in the North Atlantic Ocean around Britain and Germany. Germany's U-boats were shooting neutral and Allied powers boats. Here's another example of a ship sinking. This is in 1917. Now look, it's a hospital ship. So in class we talked about how could you sink a ship that's supposed to be a hospital? But this ship could have been disguised as a hospital, and it was maybe trying to cover something up. We don't know, but this just shows that all ships, no matter if they were warships, passenger ships, or any other kind of ships, were targeted by the German U-boats. Okay, and you still don't have to write anything on this, but you've got two people here. You've got this American man, and we know he's American because of the American flag, and he says, "Can't you see I'm a bloomin' Yankee?" A Yankee is another word for an American at the time. And he's on a boat called the Lusitania, and we're going to come back to that in a minute or two. And he is using the American flag for protection against the U-boats. And the U-boats, this is a U-boat right here. This is a German man, and he is in his submarine. Here's his flag, and we know he's German because of the way the artist depicts him. He says, "Who is it? What boat?" If you have that V instead of a W, that means he's trying to talk German. So he's talking American here, German here. Okay, you need to write this part down here in 1915 to 128 Americans. So, and this goes next to the part called Lusitania on your sheet. So, in 1915, and this is 3 years after the Titanic sank. The Titanic sank in 1912 when it hit an iceberg, but it was a passenger ship. It had 1,000, 2,000 people on it. And the Lusitania, I remember learning about this in high school and thinking, okay, the Lusitania is kind of like the Titanic. It's a passenger ship. It's traveling from Britain to America, and it sinks, and all these people die. 1,200 people died. And it was a passenger ship. It wasn't any special kind of ship, or so they thought. Anyway, 128 Americans die in this in 1915. Now, America is going to be very angered by this, but they're actually not going to retaliate for 2 more years until 1917. So this situation is just going to sit for a while. Now, I want you to imagine that if you were living in 1915, you were an American citizen, and you woke up to this news in the paper, and you remember at the time, America was neutral. America didn't have any part in the war. You, as an American citizen, yes, we were trading with the Allied powers, but that wasn't public knowledge that we were helping them out. Public knowledge was that it was the official stance that we were neutral. So when you see that, when you think you're neutral, and then you wake up and you see the Lusitania is sunk, it's sunk, and then we have a grave crisis at hand, and we have 1,260 dead, and then you find out Americans are on that boat. Americans at the time were infuriated with this. They wanted to go to war. They pushed for war. However, it would not happen immediately. Now, I said that allegedly this was a passenger ship, the Lusitania. But I'm gonna show you something here. So this is a ship manifest. A manifest, like a flight manifest, is when you see who and what kind of cargo is loaded onto an airplane. The same thing with a ship. These are all of the goods that were on that ship. So if you look through these goods, you have a lot of cases or pounds, a lot of pounds and packages of these things: cheese, beef, lard, butter. So you have your cheese, beef, lard, and butter. But then if you go on down, after this, when you see the next big numbers? There's 10, there's hundreds, tens, ones, two. These are single digit, triple digit numbers. Then you get down to these 4-digit numbers. Staves, ammunition. These are things that are used to fight in wars. Then you get over here. Single digits, double digits. Boom. 4,200 cases of cartridges and ammunition, while you only have one package of electrical machinery and one package of yarn. And this manifest did not come out until about 15 years ago, but all of these things were used to cover up the fact that they had cartridges and ammunition on that boat. And so if we didn't know this till like the year 2000 or late 90s, then all the people that have family members on the Lusitania died thinking that they died for no reason, thinking that the Germans had shot an innocent passenger ship. But this passenger ship was a disguise and was used to carry cartridges and ammunition to the Allied powers. Kind of like the Trojan horse of Greek mythology was a fancy gift, and then they brought it in and out jumped all these people that killed the people of Troy. So, same kind of deal. This is a picture of the Lusitania sinking. This is another depiction of the Lusitania sinking. As you can see down here, you have the the U-boat peering out, and it says the latest submarine victim may be the last. So this is the submarine victim right here, your Lusitania. But they have renamed the Lusitania here to U.S. patients. This represents U.S. patients to not enter that war, looking for the perfect time to enter that war. But they think that now, the Germans think now their patience is done, and they're going to be in the war soon because we sunk a ship that had Americans on it. Okay, this is the last part on the Zimmerman telegram. So you need to write these 3 things. 1, 2, 3. And this is the last cause of the war. This is going to be the final straw. So in 1917, just keep writing. I'll tell you the story though. In 1917, you have three countries involved in this. You have Germany, Mexico, and the U.S. involved in this. Germany sends a secret message to Mexico, urging Mexico to attack the U.S. if the U.S. declares war on Germany. So this is before the U.S. was actually in the war, allegedly. So, one more time, Germans said to Mexico, hey, will you help us out? Will you attack America if they declare war on us? Germany promises in return to help Mexico regain their land lost to the U.S. in the Mexican War. So, Texas, Arizona, New Mexico, all of those places, Germany said, we'll help you get back your land from America if you help us attack America in World War I. Now, the U.S. is going to declare war because this telegram is actually tapped. A telegram, is cables laid on the bottom of an ocean floor. And someone in Britain tapped through the telegram. It's kind of like a 1917 text message or email. They tap through, and they intercept this message. And Britain is America's friend, and Britain tells America, listen, this is what Germany is wanting to do with Mexico to you. And that was the last straw. At that point, the U.S. said, okay, if this is what it's going to come to, then we have to declare war. The U.S. then declares war on the Central Powers in 1917. So, I think that's the last slide. That's the end of the lecture. If you flip your paper over, you have three causes, three boxes. In each box, you need to illustrate. You can draw what the U-boats are, what the Lusitania was, what the Zimmerman telegram was, or you can write at least 3 sentences about each one in those boxes. You do what you want. Just summarize the event. And that is that. And then when you're done with it, just turn it in to me and I will grade it. Okay, if you guys have any questions, any extra comments, any extra things you want to talk about with this, just let me know. And I hope you all have a wonderful day. We'll do more World War I tomorrow. Oh, no, I wasn't done. Okay, hold on. This is... I'm so silly. Okay. This is the actual telegram itself. So it comes through numbers. The Zimmerman telegram comes through numbers. And this is the decoding of the telegram. So Mexico is the number 67893, except Texas is 36477. So we're decoding this. And the final decoded message looks like this. We intend to begin on the 1st of February. Unrestricted submarine warfare. That means that Germany was going to start torpedoing anyone with their U-boats. And then they say they're going to get the lost territory back in Texas, New Mexico, and Arizona, etc., etc. But this is the actual telegram itself. I think this is the last slide. And in that case, do your illustrations, your U-boats, Lusitania, Zimmerman telegram. Bye. Still not the last one. This is actually the last one. Guys, can you tell I'm a little sleepy? Okay, there's a song. I want you can YouTube this, but these are the lyrics to it. And so we learned about the causes of the war and the causes of America joining the war. So after America joins the war, America starts using propaganda to try to get our soldiers to fight. And this was one of the songs that they put out. It's a very famous song. And you can see the lyrics here. Johnny, get your gun, get your gun, get your gun. Take it on the run, on the run, on the run. And if you listen to the song, it's very patriotic. It sounds like a march. It has trumpets and all that stuff. Make your daddy glad to have such a lad. Tell your sweetheart not to pine, to be proud. Her boy's in line. So it's appealing to boys with sweethearts, so it's girlfriends, to make their daddies happy. Here's the chorus over there, some of the words in the word over there. The Yanks are coming, the Yanks are coming. The Yanks are Americans. The drums from tumming everywhere. So prepare, say a prayer, send the words, blah, 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 blah. And there's one more verse. Johnny, get your gun. Show the Hun who's the son of a gun. So show the German who's like the son of a gun is the son of a B word now. Hoist the flag of America, let it fly, Yankee Doodle, do or die. Yankee Doodle, as you know, is American patriotic term. Pack your little kit, show your grit, do your bit, Yankee to the ranks, from the towns and the tanks, make your mother proud of you and the old red, white, and blue. So this is getting you all patriotic and with the red, white, and blue flag, and then talking about your mother. So this one's about your mother, the one before is about your father and your girlfriend. And with that said, America is now at war, and I'm actually done because I do know this is the last slide, and I'm probably going to go take a nap now. But You guys turn in your work to me, okay? Have a good day. Bye.